members. They told me to take food with my medicine, so I need to eat. You eat, Grandpa.
Yeah, did you check the bottle?
What do the directions say?
Did you get the pills out of your pill box?
I know it's ridiculous, but they were like,
do you need help opening the bottle?
They were like, make sure to eat something with this. I'm like, okay.
Can we ask what you're taking? Is it penicillin?
No, it's not.
Hey, Kristen.
He is single. I'm
just saying.
No, those days are behind me.
Well,
yeah.
Sometimes that's when you get in the most trouble.
Or no, you just jump in the ocean afterwards. That's all.
Hey, good to see you, Kristen. The hot chick is in the house. Life is in there. Kevin, I did get your email today, buddy. Thank you. And Katie, hello. Just been a busy day. Busy day for me.
Ditto.
And I'm going back and forth. So
John, hello. Thomas, hello. Johnny, hello. Katie, hello. Okay, wow. So we're going to get started shortly while Chris is running around making sure to eat because he's on medication. And he was told he has to eat before taking his medication.
Yes, yeah. Hey, we're violating HIPAA laws here.
Kristen wants to know, you're the one who brought it up. Kristen wants to know if you need a magnifying glass to read the label. No, he used the flash on his phone and the camera. He's good.
Wait, that's just old person thing number 2. Hey, wait, I'm sorry, I gotta get my glasses. Hey, you're violating the HIPAA laws. Okay, check it out.
Nobody under the age of 50 knows what the HIPAA law is. What's going on, Robert? What's going on, Katie? Nene?
All my shoes and all my glasses so that I have them.
Welcome, everybody, to the Three of You Mirror, your weekly show where we talk about things from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, how we talk about our struggles as Gen Xers entering the second stage of our lives. What's going on, Wirehead? Where one of us every week is the host that comes up with 3 different topics. Generally speaking, about the eras that we grew up in, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, but what's hidden in those topics is a hidden connection. There's something in those 3 topics that ties one topic to the other, best case scenario. Sometimes the connection is tenuous at best, but we endeavor to make sure that it's something that if you know your stuff, you stand a snowball's chance in hell in getting it. But the fun, as they say, is in the journey, not the destination. So it's all about talking about the topics. And there's 3 of us. But every week, in addition to 3 of us, we have our virtually live studio audience. The people that are in our chat that we will routinely reach into and show their content and their comments on our screen. Life is down 41 pounds today. He's pumped. Nice. Did they pull that out of you, or have you been dieting? Did you have a colonoscopy? Is that how you lost the weight? I'm the host today. My name is John Catrides, better known as Gen X Jono. Across my social media platforms, you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or at genxjono.com to know all things about me. And I'm joined with 2 of my buddies. Chris, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Chris Clues, better known as Chris Clues. I'm a keynote speaker and author that focuses on the life and work lessons that we can learn from 80s pop culture. And I want to apologize in advance. I will be eating through this episode because I was on another show for the last 2 hours and I haven't had a chance to eat dinner. And that's all I'll say.
He's going to be all like,
Michelle?
I'm Rochelle O'Black, better known as Gen X Shell, across all of my social media accounts. You know what? Screw it. Run the floating heads. I don't even care anymore. Just run the floating heads.
Hey!
Oh, nice. How am I doing? Nice of you to ask. In fact,
there you are. And there we have Shell. Go ahead, Shell. Please introduce yourself.
Oh no, I'm Shell. If you don't know me by now, then go find me, Gen X Shell.
You can find her on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, all over. And soon, the world's most amazing website, from what I hear.
Yeah. It's coming. Hey, I have to tell you, it's like 90% done. So it's coming along. It's coming along. I got a website I'm introducing here very, very soon. It's something new and different. So, yeah.
Yeah,
all right.
This has deteriorated quickly.
So I have 3 topics. They're here somewhere.
Is today a bad dream?
My God, that's not even a CVS receipt. The topics are so short.
No, this is a 1099 form from AARP.
Oh my God.
That I may or may not have remembered to file in my taxes. All right. 3 topics for today are dogs in Hollywood, the movie Titanic, and Bubblegum.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And when we say 3 seemingly random topics that will come together in the end, I don't know. I think I did all right. Dogs in Hollywood, the movie Titanic, and Bubblegum. So the first one is just, dude, so many TV shows, so many movies centered around dogs, from Lassie to, I mean, you can name them. All dogs go to heaven. You can go into Lady and the Tramp in the cartoons. Just you can pick and choose and talk. I'm coming to it from things that last more than 10 minutes, says Katie. I'm coming to it from Lassie, but I wanted to open it up, because some people didn't see Lassie, but they were all over Benji. Boy, Chris, you are going to town on whatever that is you're working on.
I'm trying to eat fast.
Yes.
I'm freaking hungry, man.
And it continued, right? It didn't stay just in the 70s with Old Yeller and Travis and that monstrosity. It went on into the 90s, into Marley and Me, and so many more. And then we took those movies or those TV shows, and how many kids grew up with a dog named Lassie? Because they saw it, or Spot, or Benji, or whatever. But, Rin Tin Tin, Beethoven, people are just throwing them now into the chat. But I figured this would be a fun 15 minutes to talk about what dogs do you remember growing up. And Chris, I figured it was an awesome segue to talk a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And before I talk about that, Kristen mentioned Sit, Ubu, Sit.
Yeah.
It's a great one. I mean, that I'll never forget that. And that's like that comfortable pair of jeans that you slip on that I talk about whenever I see the Sit, Ubu, Sit. I know that I've just watched like comfort food television for me. I actually work a lot with rescues, and rescue is a huge part of my life, rescue dogs. And in fact, my boy Bodie is sitting over there right now. So let's encourage everybody to, if you're thinking about bringing an animal into your family, particularly a dog, for me, to just adopt, don't shop. Most of us don't have jobs where we get to save a life. If you are an EMT or a doctor or a nurse or a soldier or a firefighter or a police officer, thank you. But most of us are not in those positions. So the chance to save a life is with adoption, and you'll teach your kids that as well. So there you go. That's my little spiel. And
John, you mentioned Lassie at the very beginning. In my family, we had an actual long-haired collie, just a collie, like Lassie was. And we didn't want to be the same as the television show, so we actually named her Sassy. And so our dog's name was Sassy, and it was really cute because she was a very playful dog and big, and my sister and I were really little, and we would roll down the hill, and the neighbors used to think that the dog was like chewing the hell out of us. And at one point, no, they thought the dog was attacking us, but she had this little playful thing where she would just stick her mouth like right on us kids and growl and pretend like she was ripping us apart. I miss her. She, dogs are such a huge addition to your life. But yeah,
and we talk about how things have changed. We all had dogs. Like, I grew up in the country. Our dog was outside. We had a pen. We had a dog house for the dog. But primarily the dog was outside. Things have changed as they've become more and more parts of the family. But you always, I can't tell you how many memories. I could run an entire show on just dogs. Tiger from the Brady Bunch, somebody mentioned. And I remember, first season, there's Tiger. The doghouse remained through the entire run of Brady Bunch but the dog was only in season 1. The dog just disappeared. I guess there were 3 different versions of Tiger. He disappeared after the first season or died or whatever, and they're finally like, forget it, we're done. We're not going to replace him. It's like Chuck from Happy Days. He goes away. We're never talking about him again. Snoopy. People are just going to town. Hong Kong Phooey.
Hong Kong Phooey. Dino Mutt, Fred mentioned. I also, one of my favorites was the Nanook. If anybody knows.
The Nook of the North?
If anybody knows the movie that the dog's name was Nanook, I'll wait for you to put it into the comments. I know somebody knows it. It was a 1987 movie. It's one of my favorites of all time.
Like a Call of the Wild? Did they make a Call of the Wild?
It wasn't Call of the Wild. If I actually give away the genre, I'll probably give away the movie. So I'm going to wait and see if anybody knows.
Okay.
The dog Nanook was in a 1987 movie.
I mean, Kevin and a couple other people mentioned Cujo.
Yeah.
I mean, dude. And I mean, listen, leash laws. Leash laws are very much a 2000s thing. I remember growing up, there were just dogs like running around the neighborhood. We'd always find our neighbor's dog in our yard. I got bit by a dog as a kid. It wasn't a rare occurrence to get hit by a dog by a kid. We lost dogs to the streets because they weren't leashed all the time, and the cars took them out. And back then, it wasn't. People pay a lot to take care of their pets now.
Oh, yeah.
But I've heard people have cancer treatments, and they pay. It wasn't necessarily the case so much. Dogs died. We buried them in our backyard. We got another dog. I mean, I literally had a pet cemetery in my backyard. Another movie about dogs or cats anyway in that one.
I should say dogs and cats.
Shaggy DA.
A lot of people got the movie in the comments.
Lost Boys.
Nanook was in Lost Boys.
I don't remember that.
I remember it now. It was Corey Haim's dog.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Benji was beyond cute.
I have because okay, funny you just put up Benji right there because you remember when you went to school in elementary school in the gym and cafetorium, and they always showed some sort of a movie as like maybe an end of the month or end of the week thing for things. Benji was always one of those movies that was shown, and all I can remember is when they kicked Benji like into the garbage can in the corner. I was freaking. All of us girls, of course, we were elementary school kids. We were crying. What's going to happen to Benji? And it just sticks in my mind, that furry little puffball being kicked into a corner. Oh, Annie's dog too. What's Annie's dog? Annie's dog.
Yeah, I see him. Big fluffy white thing.
I can't think of it now.
Reminds me of Benji.
It just came to my mind after Chompers from Sandlot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And what was the movie about the Jack Russell? Where
Sandy.
No,
the dog from Annie was Sandy.
Oh, Sandy. Yeah, that's right. There was a Jack Russell movie though. It was really good because he gets the dog as a puppy, and then he goes to college. The dog is older and eventually passes away, but it's a really good. I think it's called Skip the Dog, something like that.
There was a Jack Russell too for in Frasier. That was his little dog, right?
Toto.
Toto, yeah. Like who could forget Toto?
For sure.
Yeah.
I will say, like, the thing that I love is how some of these dogs, right? Toto being one, I'll get you and your little dog, Toto, I'll get you a little dog too. Or Lassie with Timmy. Timmy, what's going on, Lassie? Is Timmy in trouble? And just like that, I don't know if it ever happened in the movie or that's just the joke that came out of it. I'd have to actually look and see if that was actually part of the movie, but they've always made fun of it. Here comes Lassie, and without saying a word, they're going to insinuate, my God, you are just going to town.
I'm hungry, dude.
Oh, I thought you meant the comments. You meant Chris.
I mean, give me that.
So I mean that was cool. The other thing was we can't get out of this segment without going into detail with Old Yeller. Yeah. Because when we talk about movies that if they were remade today, I don't see it, especially being marketed to kids, the trauma that would cause for kids today. Not because he had to be put down, but because he had to be put down with a shotgun, and he had to be put down with a shotgun by the boy that was his owner. I mean, it was his. You don't make the kid put the dog down.
No, but I have to say something though too, like farm life kind of stuff. John, you know this farm life kind of stuff. There's a different thing that goes on where it's part of the cycle of life that you do.
Yeah.
It is when it's that animal's time, you do it mostly because you know that that's best for it. Because the veterinary care, especially in the old, I'm talking back then.
No, I get it. You're not
Veterinary
wrong.
care was not as much of an access.
No, and it was Travis's responsibility. It was his dog, and it was time for Yeller to be put down.
Yeah.
But just, I mean, if you watch the scene, they could have just as easily had Yeller like get sick, and but no, he's there in the throes of rabies rage, and Travis has that. I'm laughing.
What are you laughing?
I don't know. I just keep picturing Phoebe Buffay in the Friends episode, which almost became part of today's thing, where she's like, what? Travis Boy and his dog, good frontier family fun. And then she sees it. Trav, where are you going with that gun, Trav?
Don't do that, Trav.
You can't talk about.
I had to pick up Mad Max's dog in Road Warrior. I mean, that is awesome, too. I have a T-shirt. I have a shirt with Mad Max and his dog on it. It's one of my favorite shirts.
Somebody just mentioned Where the Red Fern Grows. Excellent.
Yeah.
Made my kids read it when they're younger. But the Taco Bell dog, because someone mentioned a Chihuahua. It's almost like you could mention a breed of dog. Like someone mentioned Jack Russell's, and then I'm like, oh, the dog in Frasier. Or someone mentions a Collie, and you go Lassie. Or someone mentions a Scotty Terrier, then you're Toto. You could mention the dog breed, and you know what you're talking about.
And we know how much everybody loves and cares about dogs because the movie John Wick, his dog gets killed, and we're like, kill everybody.
Burn the place down.
Kill everyone for killing the puppy. And now, awesomely enough, in the John Wick movies, he has a pit bull, which is what I have, which is what Bodhi is. And I love seeing that in movies. I love seeing them in a different light. So, but yeah, that John Wick, they kill the dog, and we're just like, yeah, burn it all down. Burn it all down.
Mm-hmm. Spuds MacKenzie, Beethoven, I mean, like, this is a great topic for people.
I mean, even in, like, superheroes, like somebody mentioned Crypto earlier, who's featured in the new Superman movie. They actually bring Crypto back. Superman Super Dog. It's just the whole theme of a boy and his dog, a girl and his dog. We grew up, it was a big part of our lives. It remains a big part of our kids' lives. It changes a little bit in terms of, where does the dog live and where does it sit in family dynamics, but it's always been a thing. I couldn't believe when I saw Marley and Me, I'm like, seriously, they're doing it to me again? Like, I thought that was done. I didn't think they were going to do that to me because the previews just show the dog who's a little rambunctious and who's eating everything up, and I'm like, good family fun, but no, it's a doggy snuff film. It's Old Yeller all over again. I'm like, what are you doing to me?
Dog snuff. Wait, that just made me think of one. Sure, I just lost it. Something went through in the comments.
Scooby-Doo?
Oh, no, I lost it again.
Scrappy-Doo?
Scooby-Doo, Scrappy-Doo, yeah.
Iris said John Wick is the patron saint of the SPCA, which is, yes, true.
You said, shit, Marley and Me. I couldn't stop laughing at the snuff film thing.
Well, and like I said, for me, it all started with Lassie, then it went over to Benji, and it just kept going and going and going. And, these movies put into our heads that your family wasn't complete if you didn't have a dog. And if you were that kid who's, for whatever reason, whose family wouldn't let you have a dog, and for the longest time, that was us, because we rented when I was a little kid. My parents were able to lean on that excuse. It's tough. But, I mean, I always wanted that. I wanted that dog that would always look out for me, that if I fell down a well, he would go and tell someone I'm down there. If baby Jessica had had a Lassie, she might not have been stuck there as long as she was.
It makes me think of my one dog right now.
It's not. Is it Snoopy? What do you call yours?
Snoop Curly Dog, and Gizmo, and we have another one, Chutney. But Gizmo, if something happened to me, he'd just be like, and my other one is so I have to bring him on here. Oh my God! Wait.
Remind me of Buffalo Bill and Silent Slams. Oh, word.
Aww.
Wait. He's 17 years old.
And he looks every day of it.
This is Snoop Curly Dog. He got cataracts. He's half blind. And yeah, he's just, look at him. He's like, hi. So yeah, is that a good way to end the segment?
That's a good way to end the segment. We're right on time. What dog was voiced by Michael J. Fox? I can hear it. I just don't remember. I remember Fox and the Hound was voiced by Tango and Cash. What was his name? Kurt Russell and somebody else. I would love that movie. But at any rate, we'll close up Dogs in Hollywood again. In terms of the connection, I'll give you the clue that of all the dogs we were talking about, to kind of funnel it in place and make it a little easier for y'all, Lassie is what we're looking for to help you with the connection. It won't help, but...
Whenever I hear Lassie, I always think of Porky's, but that's me.
Okay. Second topic. Titanic. Dude, 1997. It's going on 30 years since this movie came out.
Well,
You've never seen it.
You never... What?
Oh, the look on your face looked like you were going to tell me you've never seen it.
No. I actually have a story about that one. My first marriage had ended not long before that movie had come out, and the movie has a special significance for me only in that I was so scared to go out on my own again. I was just I was married very young and then divorced very young. I didn't want to go to a movie theater by myself, but I truly, truly, truly wanted to see Titanic. And it stands as the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater by myself.
Oh.
I went and saw it by myself. And it was, at the time being, it was a really brave act for me because I was really devastated at that point in my life. You know what I mean? I'm happy, that's all over with. But, that was the first movie I ever saw all by myself.
So, Cindy, 1987 was almost 40 years ago. What I said was 1997, which is when Titanic came out, that it was almost 30 years ago. And I just remember, this is one of those movies that was destined to break records. You knew this was going to be super box office. Even the guy from Young and the Restless was in it with the mustache. And there were just so many different people that took little roles in it. And it was just a huge movie. And when they brought it out, all of a sudden, every documentary on raising the Titanic came out. And it just seemed like there were all these little pieces around it. Linda says never even tempted to watch it. I thought it was a good movie. Once you realize it's fictional, it's a movie and it's fictitious. There was no Jack, there was no Rose, but suspend your disbelief and just enjoy the movie. And I liked it.
But there was a Jack.
Titanic was fictitious. I was like,
it was a Jack and a Rose. What I loved about that movie was that it was a story of the people. It was that those kinds of people. Everybody died. Not everybody, but I mean, so many people. And there were those love stories. The ones where the old people were laying in bed together. The ones
that scene.
But
that scene killed me.
Where what's her face played she played the one rich lady.
What's her face did?
What's her face?
What's her face played that part? No.
I can't think of her name right now. It's going to pop in my head in a minute.
Leave it to Rose to say that Billy Zane was the a-hole.
Yeah, but no, but most of the characters were actually based on real, actual characters from the actual Titanic and people who were on the ship and died with the ship, like the Astor family and so on. They were characterized in there. Yeah. And I thought they did a beautiful job at making that movie come alive. Making the disaster seem. I held my breath when it went down. Yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
I got dragged to it. And actually ended up enjoying it. But I think it was because the difference 30 years ago, the only way to experience a movie like that was in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Now so many people, even some of the big movies, people wait for them to come in streaming, but there are a handful of movies that you really have to experience in the theater to appreciate them. And although Titanic is a good story, it's not the kind of movie that I would just kind of watch on a regular TV because it's on. But in the theater, it was a whole different experience for me. I mean, when the size and scope of the ship and remembering what special effects were like 30 years ago and what they did with it was pretty impressive. So,
I'm thinking of Molly Brown. That's who I was thinking of when I said who played.
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates. That's it. Yep.
So Linda said, it's a romance. So she doesn't necessarily do romances. I think it was more than that. The movie did a really good job of putting me on the Titanic. Like watching people get in the boats. Like once it got to the point where it was sinking, for me, that's when the movie started. When you saw the people pushing up against the gate, trying to get out as the water was rising. When you saw the mother who had just given up and is like, we're not going anywhere. So I'm going to make my children's last moments as comfortable as I can. And she's reading to them as the water is starting to come up. That put me on the ship. That I'm like, this was a story of, yes, it was a romance. Yes, they fictionalized part of it. But to your point, they were real stories. And the movie did an amazing job for me of putting me on board the ship with them so that I felt for them. I felt it.
Rose kept the necklace.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
About that too. Like, why the hell didn't you sell the damn thing?
Well, she's dying that night. That's the night she died. Just give it to your daughter. She's right there.
Right. You had a
Your daughter's right there.
This was a one night stand you had. Okay. And this one night stand, and now you've kept this necklace and this hope alive, this Le Coeur de la Mer, or whatever they called it, The heart of the ocean.
Heart of the ocean.
Yeah. So, I mean, why keep it alive for a one night stand?
To your point, one night stand. Mm-hmm. She dies. Mm-hmm. She's in heaven. She was presumably married for I don't know how many years, had a family. Husband's nowhere in the picture.
No.
She goes back in heaven to be with the guy whose dead, cold, frozen fingers she pried off her hands and pushed out into the sea.
The guy she bonked in a car once, okay? Like one time. And it was probably not a really comfortable car, judging by the 1920s aesthetic of it, Not that I have any experience in that. There's just
none whatsoever.
Yeah. So,
Kevin keeps saying Rose is the villain. We're on that. Chris?
I mean, I just, I saw the movie once, and I think somebody said they saw it once. I think it was Kristen said it once, and that was enough. I enjoyed it. I think, obviously the song that came out of it, I don't remember the name of the song, but
My Heart Will Go On. Celine Dion.
Yeah. I mean, obviously a huge song, right? And again, we talk a lot about that with the music from these movies, and that you couldn't not hear that song for like a year and a half on the radio. Yeah. It was inevitable that it was going to come on probably about every third or fourth song. And Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, I mean, obviously like great cast, super talented. And was it James Cameron that did the movie?
Yes.
Okay. And then
he actually went down and saw the Titanic.
Still obsessed with it.
Yeah, he did documentaries on the actual Titanic. Yeah. He actually took a whatever you would call it, a submersible, and went down and looked at it.
Yeah.
I've seen like footage of the plates and the stuff that are down there, and it's pretty incredible. They've brought stuff up little by little. I don't know how I feel about the actual Titanic being disturbed. I do feel like they're kind of picking at people's graves personally. Like just kind of leave it alone down there, but
yeah, I mean,
Wire had just mentioned another Poseidon Adventure, the original. I think it's a 70s movie. I was obsessed with that one. I thought that was. I got a frog in my throat.
What's that?
I got a frog in my throat.
I'm sorry, your volume's going up and down. One more time.
Are you jacking with me?
I've been waiting. And Chris is still eating.
And And I just made the incredibly wrong gesture for choking.
I was aware.
I was trying not to choke.
Poseidon Adventure. I loved the Poseidon Adventure. I thought that was like such a scary movie whenever I was a kid because it was so realistic. The idea of this boat being turned upside down and all these people dying and everything. Loved it.
I mean, love it or hate it in terms of Titanic. It was a big epic movie. And those are the kind of movies like I like great stories, like great storytelling. But part of the allure of the movies in Hollywood are these big epic movies. And that was a big epic movie. And I don't like the, and I'm not like they do the big epic movies today, but we talked about this too. With all the CGI and everything, it's just not the same. And for me with like Titanic, I don't know, it's a big epic movie. So for me, that's what I like about it.
The only, I will say this, I'm not big on going to movie theaters anymore just because of that whole movie at home thing. And they're only in theaters for 5 minutes. But the new Mission Impossible, I do want to see that one in the theaters. Yeah. It looks like it's going to be really good. And at least I can give a lot of credit to like Tom Cruise that CGI, I mean, it's all staged and stuff and safety harnesses everywhere. But he's doing a lot of his own stuff. And I got to give mad respect for that.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, though, that you just said made me think. You're like, I'm not big on the movie theater. I'd rather just watch it at home, more comfortable. And yet, you would have to drag me. It'd have to be a really good movie to drag me to the movie theater to see a movie that's coming out right now. But a lot of the theaters where I am are doing throwback flashbacks, where last week it was Wizard of Oz on the big screen. This week, I think they're doing the Goonies. I mean, they're playing different, and I'm all about it. I want to see those movies on the big screen now and drag my kids with me, even though I can see them any given day just by throwing them on the TV. I can stream them. But something about seeing them up there, those movies I want to pay and go see on the big screen.
Yeah. I like what Dam just said. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah. That's pretty neat. That's a neat fact. Did not know that.
So last thing, just going to take a poll. Was there room on the door for two?
God, yes, absolutely. There was room.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
So we agree that she was a selfish bitch.
She was the villain. As
Kevin and so many people have said, I'll never let you go, Jack. I'll never let you go.
She didn't want anybody to know that she went slumming.
Yeah.
Yeah, why couldn't she just leave her clutch to the door? He wasn't going nowhere.
Or, some people say, no, there wasn't room. They tried. He made a half-hearted attempt to get on it first, and it tipped kind of funny, and they gave up after that. First of all, I'd try more than once. But the other thing is, take turns in the water then. There's no reason to be up there the entire time. If they took turns, maybe he would have lasted as long. So, I don't know. There's that. All right. So, we've talked about dogs in Hollywood. We've talked about Titanic. Now let's talk about Bubblegum. Did you guys have a favorite Bubblegum? Did you have a favorite gum growing up?
Yes.
Well, I had everybody loved Bubblegum and Hubba Bubba. Okay.
Yeah.
Hubba Bubba. Like, you just loved saying the name Hubba Bubba. And I can't remember a time when there wasn't, like, in your back pocket, a comb in one pocket and a packet of, like, purple Hubba Bubba in the other pocket. Bubble Yum, Hubba Bubba, whatever it was. Absolutely loved it. And it was a big, gooey hunk of gum, too. Not like these little gums right now that are like little tiny little mint-sized gums that you need 17 of them to make a good wad of gum and a bubble with. Like you couldn't blow a bubble nowadays.
Yeah.
Fruit Stripes, the flavor, just this time it took John to click on that, flavor is gone. It's off the screen.
Yeah, Fruit Stripes.
It was such a good flavor for that 3 seconds.
For that 3 seconds.
It was 6 seconds. It was delicious.
If they could have marketed that for that flavor to stay forever, they'd never have gone out of business.
Gatorade gum was good.
I loved Gatorade gum.
Big League Chew. That was mine.
Big Red.
I like the one with my favorite, though, was the cinnamon one that had the liquid center in the middle of it. And it burst in your mouth. I love that.
Oh, freshen up gum.
Yes, I love
the cinnamon was almost tolerable. First of all, the liquid inside it was mouthwash. It was gelatinous mouthwash.
Yes.
And it would sit in like, my mom loved the stuff. It was like underneath the lint in her purse, she would reach in and grab this stuff while we were at Seabreeze Amusement Park. And it was like the temperature of the sun and gooey and hot and disgusting. That gum, especially the green one, was gross.
Somebody mentioned Rainbow, and that's still one of my favorites today. I love getting like a package of Rainbow, but I'll literally tear that thing. Within 30 minutes, I've consumed all of the gum in the package. And it's like, there's like 11 pieces of gum in there, but it's awesome.
Well, then there's like the pop, not Tootsie Pops, the Blow Pops that always had that disgusting crunchy piece of gum by the time you got to the center, and the gum was nasty. I don't even know why that was a thing. And then there was Bazooka gum.
Bazooka Joe, yep, and it always had a little cartoon in there.
Yeah.
How about the fact that the baseball card packs came with a stick of gum that was like 113 years old?
I liked it though.
I liked it too, but that gum was old, man.
It was god awful. I liked the challenge. I liked trying to see if I could get it to turn back into gum. Because it was like, if you've never tried, it was like cardboard, and you're like...
I'm convinced that was leftover gum from like 1920s, and they just put a wrapper on. They didn't put a wrapper on it. They just shoved it in the baseball card pack and it had no wrapper. And now they put a wrapper on it apparently because they have to do it right. But back then they just shoved the piece of gum in there next to the cards, and they're like, "Here you go, kid."
Charm Blow Pop, that was always good. I always liked it when you got little pieces of the candy in with the gum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was good. Yeah.
Juicy Fruit, I did a video on it to this day, people guess, there's actual Reddit streams, Reddit, whatever they're called, about what the flavor of Juicy Fruit gum is. Some people say it's dragon fruit and banana. I have no idea what that flavor is. Mm-mm. It's very distinct.
Now, someone mentioned Big Red, and as soon as you say Big Red, I can literally sing the entire commercial still to this
just a little longer, stay fresh a little longer, make it last a little longer with Big Red. They all had awesome commercials. Hubba Bubba had it was always like the Western, and they, would draw, and then they blow the bubble, and Hubba Bubba was I think their claim to fame was it didn't stick to your face. You could blow the big bubble, it would explode, and then you could just peel it right off. And the person doing the other gum would be like all stuck to them.
Do you guys remember the gum that came in like little juice boxes? It was like apple juice.
Oh God, yes, they were little chunks.
Pink lemonade. Yes, they were chunks. Yeah,
but there were gold mine ones. Like you could buy the gold.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Gold miners packet.
Yeah.
And it was chunks of gold or coal that you could eat that was gum. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Sterling says, well, there's gum and soda. Gum and the soda. I don't know about that, but one thing that I would do, I used to like drink soda with like ice. And then when I was done with the soda, I would pop in a piece of gum and then chew the ice and the gum at the same time.
Now, there's something I gotta say though. Speaking of chewing ice and gum, because that reminds me of the gum crackling. Okay.
Yeah.
I can live. Okay, this is a pet peeve. I can live with someone blowing bubbles. I can live with someone chewing gum. I cannot live. I don't know if it was just being punished by it in high school or something. People that chew gum like a cow. Or for God's sake, why do you crack your gum?
Oh, I do. It's fun.
Oh my God, no!
But it's fun.
No, it's disgusting.
Those are the same people that talk on their speakerphone in public.
Oh, it's the same people that scrape their teeth across a fork. Like, what's wrong with you?
Big League Chew's delicious. I mean, it's still awesome.
Still have some.
What was the somebody?
Dr. Pepper gum.
In the gum, the ice
really?
cream. Somebody mentioned the ice cream truck with the ice cream that had the gum in it.
The Pink Panther.
Is that what it was? But
yeah, Pink Panther, and in the eyes you could chew the gum.
Yeah.
But there was also like a Bubblegum ice cream that you could get that had little chunks of gum in it as well.
I remember that too.
And if you swallowed it, it lasted 7 years in your stomach.
That's what they said.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. If you're Gen X, you know that rumor.
There was one called Tubblegum. Do you guys remember Tubblegum? It was literally like it came out of like a toothpaste thing, and it was like It was like toothpaste, but it was gum. It was gross.
Ooh.
Cindy asks, what was the one with the red, yellow, and purple wrapper that you could buy a single piece? I don't remember
Bazooka.
ever buying a single piece.
You bought bazookas as singles.
Oh, that's right. I guess you did, and it was
Not
nicotine
chiclets.
gum.
Not chiclets.
Chiclets.
Mickey Mouse ice cream pops had that also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned the gum on the bottom of the desks, and if we got in trouble, two things I remember scraping, having to be the kid that stayed after class to scrape all the gum out. I never put my gum underneath my. First of all, we weren't allowed to chew gum in class. Like, that was a rule in school. No gum in, and if you got caught, or if I had teachers that made you stick it on the end of your nose. Like, I don't know why that was a thing, but it was. And then the second thing was, I don't remember ever putting gum like underneath the desk, but it was always covered. It's disgusting.
I remember the gum on the nose thing. That was an elementary school thing. My God, can you imagine the parent phone calls today for something like that? Oh, my word.
Say, oh, my word.
Oh, my word.
You all right, Martha? Gladys?
Do you remember the banana berry split?
I prefer Agnes.
No, I don't.
Banana berry split bubble yum. They had a flavor called banana berry split.
Huh.
Delicious.
Don't remember that.
And the candies, the bubblegum cigars.
And we cannot talk about being Gen X and gum without talking about candy cigarette gum.
Oh, yeah.
And the cigarettes, I remember the kind I liked had like powdered sugar in the packet, so that when you pulled them out, you could puff on the gum, and then the powdered sugar would make a little puff of smoke, just to make sure that as we were pretending to smoke at the age of 6, there was a level of realism involved.
Which one had the tape gum? It came in like a circular container, and you would pull it.
Yep.
Bubble tape.
Bubble tape.
Bubble tape.
And there's a TikTok video that's making its round of a younger person trying to antagonize Gen Xers and millennials. He just takes the bubble tape and like takes a big bite out of it like an apple.
Yeah. No,
instead of doing it. What's that?
Just
to bother us. I'm like,
someone did that with the Kit Kat bar too, where you don't snap off the Kit Kat bar, you just bite it.
Oh, that's a bad one.
You mentioned the candy cigarettes, and then it made me think of something else. And again, I just lost it again.
Gladys Kravitz.
Wow. Glad you have your glasses tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Gladys.
Mm-hmm. I prefer Naughty Librarian, but that's all right.
But how weird is it? Like, one kind of, to throw out Titanic for the moment, but like little things. Like dogs, shared experience, how important through pop culture, the different variety of dogs were. Shell, you can name any dog and there was its representation. Same thing with gum. So many different representations based on flavor, based on what kind, what they were. And at first, if you say to some kid, hey, what's your favorite gum? If you tell a 12-year-old today what's your favorite gum, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. When's the last time you saw gum advertised on television? Yeah. When's the last time you saw a comic book ad? Hubba Bubba routinely had the inserts in the comic books where they were in the Old Western dueling it out. It was marketed to us in a way that it's not anymore. Candy in general isn't. Gum really specifically isn't. Well, you can sing the double mint gums. People mentioned the Seagull twins. Double Pleasure, we know that song. We know the Big Red song. We know the Dentine. Gum was pop culture.
Yeah.
Well, I think two things. One is there's still gum commercials, but it's about freshening your breath. It's not about fun. And we had the Saturday morning cartoons, and that's where they advertised the hell out of it to us. Was all in those Saturday morning cartoons, which is where they had all that gum.
James, shout out to you. I mentioned Old Yeller today and the Feed Me Buffet section. That's because of what we tried to get together with your email. So, guys, if you have suggestions, James helped me put this together a little bit. Send them our way. But, yes, do you guys know ABC Gum? Do you remember ABC Gum?
No.
No? Really?
Mm-mm.
Already been chewed. Your friend would be like, "You want my? Do you want some ABC gum?" And you'd be like, "Sure. What's ABC gum?" And they'd go to give you their gum already been chewed.
Yeah,
and if it was a girl you really liked, I remember taking it and chewing at it anyway. I'm like, I don't care.
So like Elf, when Elf was getting the ABC gum in the movie Elf, when he was pulling it off of the rails in New York City. Ugh.
And somebody else mentioned about a piece of gum that was, like the hat. Remember your grandma or your mom would give you a half a stick of gum from the bottom of her purse, and they said it tasted like perfume and like and tobacco, but it was always a half a stick too. Like they would never give you the full stick. You only got a half a stick, and it was always like Wrigley's. Like you didn't get a good gum. You got like a stick of spearmint gum, and it was always a half stick. Why? Like your mom always had a half a stick in her purse.
And then, at least on my part, before we close out, if you've ever seen the cult film 1988, They Live, I'm here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of gum. That's like one of my favorite. Was it Roddy Piper?
Roddy Piper. Yeah.
Was in that scene. And that was, it just, again, it shows up again and again and again. And I just think it's cool. Anything else you guys want to add? I'm looking through Warm Lint. Conehead movie where Belder chewed condoms like it was gum. Kevin, you got me on that one.
Blackjack gum. Oh, God, yes. I see the gag signs right there. Oh.
Which one?
Blackjack gum. Tastes like licorice.
Ew.
Ooh.
That one.
But literally every flavor, even we've talked all the way to Gatorade. All the way to, when our 90s, we finally tried to kick the habit of smoking. A lot of us tried the nicotine gum.
Yeah.
Which for a long time, I guess it's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit, but they're marketing it differently now. They found that people had a very hard time quitting with Nicorette because they just got addicted to the Nicorette, which is still better than smoking. But now they'll tell you can do both at the same time. It'll help you reduce your cravings and smoke less. At any rate.
They had the Ghostbusters slime gum, if you remember that. That was like a toothpaste bottle but that to your
I'm aware, Grant.
It was all like... that's to your point, John. It was all about they were making chewing gum fun, and they were finding different ways to market these. It was gum. At the end of the day, some had better flavor than others, but they were finding cool packaging to put it in. Basically,
cool packaging, cool flavors, different type, different ways to do it. It was definitely. I think gum was bigger in the '80s. What the hell wasn't? But gum is one of those things that was definitely bigger when we were growing up than it is today.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, in summary today, we've talked about Lassie and the Hollywood dogs, the dogs of Hollywood. Remember to get your dog spayed and neutered. We've talked about, what we didn't talk about is Bob Barker. We could have brought him into the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the movie Titanic. And now we just finished off with bubblegum, and every other kind of gum under the sun. And now the question is, how the hell, if at all, do we connect those three things? Shell, go ahead. I know you know this.
No.
Chris?
I don't know.
All I could think is Tim, Bazooka Joe. Like Tim, Joe, and I'm like, what does Tim and Joe have anything to do with Titanic? Like, is there...
Brian asks, didn't Leonardo do a Bubble Yum commercial? Possible. How does that connect all three? That's a start. That's something.
Well, then he must have been in a movie with a dog, if that's Leonardo.
He said it was with Lassie, though.
Oh.
Now and laters, like chewing wood, chalky. Must be talking about Gatorade gum. Never trust gum in card packs. I love gum in card packs, though. Fun fact, gum was invented in the 1800s. Why? It went too fast. I lost it. Man, it went fast. Did anybody else see it? To help curb sexual urges in men. That is our fun fact for the day. I'm guessing it didn't work.
Yeah.
I'm horny.
That's why you had all the gum in the 80s.
All right. Not seeing a full connection anywhere. Garbage Pail Kids come with gum. I don't know. Did they? I don't. Yeah, I've got two back here. There is gum in there, actually. Amway had a gum that never lost its flavor, but it's Amway, so I'm guessing you kind of hoped it would.
I don't know enough
Tearjerker,
about
somebody
Lassie.
wrote. All right, so I'm not seeing a full thing. We saw part of it. Let's go to our media and play you all a clip. Look at me trying to do technology.
Oh my God.
Come on.
He's like Kip in Napoleon Dynamite, trying to do technology.
I could have swooped that guy, but the rear end feels draggy. It's a nice bike, McCullough, for going to the grocery store.
Wow.
But I've been thinking.
That is a clip from New Lassie, 1987.
That's
The
Leo.
reboot
The
of
other one.
Lassie, and that was Leonardo DiCaprio.
The little
And-
blonde.
Blonde. And then there's this.
Chewing Bubblegum. And this is Reggie, a land roving turtle from the islands of Galapagos.
That's not Leonardo DiCaprio.
What?
But only one is soft. Big soft chunk bubblegum keeps it popping.
But again, look how much fun. Here we go.
Of super soft bubblegum. This is a loud thumping, tube pumping.
Wow.
Both are known for blast. But on the yum is the fun that never blows out. Big mouth busting bubblegum keeps it popping.
Big mouth bustin'.
New Lassie. So I never saw a New Lassie. I'd have never known that. I'm thinking old black and white Lassie is all I kept thinking about.
So Leonardo DiCaprio, he was in a Bubble Yum commercial, obviously. He appeared in New Lassie. They tried to bring Lassie back in the 80s with an actual television series that did not do well. And then finally, of course, played Jack in Titanic. So there's your connection.
Love it.
Nice.
Great job. Awesome.
No, that's
And connect it to like a massive movie star and do it in a way that was not easy to figure out.
That one took me a little bit of time, I got to be honest. I had the idea. It was a long, convoluted way to get there. But I wanted to talk about Leo because, number one, I mean, we've known him since he was a kid growing up with us. Some people remember the Bubble Yum commercial. Some people, if they don't remember that, they'll remember him on Growing Pains. Mm-hmm. You know, if they watched it, he was in 80s television. He was part of that. So we watched him grow up into Titanic, into Wolf on Wall Street. Basketball Diaries was a big movie. For me, he's a Gen Xer. He may make some interesting life choices with women that aren't Gen Xers.
He's got a great dating life. Are you kidding me?
The Revenant.
But all things being equal, what a repertoire of movies and television.
If you've never seen The Revenant, you got to see that one.
No. I mean, What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Oh.
You want to watch?
Yes.
You want to see? He couldn't have been more than 20 at that time when he did What's Eating Gilbert Grape. You want to see, like, if you ever wonder, like, where does a movie star come from? Watch What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and you can see right away, like, this guy's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Oscar level performance. I mean, I remember watching the movie and being blown away by just mannerisms and traits and sold it. Sold.
Unbelievable.
Sold it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even movies that weren't great, like The Beach actually turns out to be a decent movie because he's good and he's in it. It's not like a great movie, but I'll tell you the one that I love that he did was Blood Diamond.
Oh, that was good. Not a bad performance in any of his movies. Some are better than others. Inception.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of my favorites. The top does stop. At the end, it's falling. I'm totally on big time. Departed was great.
The Revenant was absolutely amazing. Somebody else just said it there too. I don't usually watch movies where it's like a bear, and it was amazing. But there was that one movie where he was a slave owner and he slammed his hand down on the table and he got up to yell at someone. Was it
Django Unchained?
Yeah. Okay. He actually he's such an amazing actor. Going back to the Gilbert Grape thing, he actually shattered his hand because he hit it on a glass and like really severely cut his hand and it was bleeding. Never missed a beat. Watch the full scene. They kept it in. All of the other people acting were going like this, but they weren't acting at that point. They were like scared because they saw him and he was bleeding and he never dropped a moment.
Yeah.
Fred says he ruined Growing Pains and thought he was overrated since. Well, to be fair, Fred, he was kind of the Oliver of Growing Pains. It fell into that trope of bringing in a young person as the main cast got older. They try that in so many sitcoms. Once the kids are no longer kids, they got to bring in a kid. Mm-hmm. And basically the show's run its course by then. The Brady Bunch was done by the time Oliver came along. Growing Pains was effectively over by the time Leonardo DiCaprio came in. It's the last dying gasp of breath of a show when that happens. But yeah, it was over after him.
Yeah, I mean he's a movie star. I mean we have a lot of people that we see in movies. We have very few movie stars, and he's a movie star. And
you can like him or hate him, but I mean, you look at the vast. I'm always like the vast number of work, and when those of us, people that really work and dig ditches for a living, and I'm like, all right, he's playing pretend on a movie set, but whatever it is, he's got so many movies underneath him. The vast amount of lines he's memorized and movies he's done, and the way he's brought himself into our lives over the course of almost our entire lives, I think it's pretty incredible. And Linda, as a hyperactive person, Rose says, I cannot sit still. I'm sitting on my legs now so that I don't keep jumping around. I can't. I apologize. Maybe this should go back to being a podcast.
Joe said in here to watch the Mythbusters. I think he said it, or somebody else once before said Mythbusters actually proved that two people could fit on the tour.
I believe it.
He doesn't have a huge role in it, but if you want to see, it's a really good underrated movie from about 10 or 12 years ago called Out of the Furnace. And he has a smaller role in it. I don't remember exactly what his role was, but it's basically Christian Bale, Woody Harrelson, Casey Affleck, Forrest Whitaker, Willem Dafoe. It's a really, really good. It's one of those movies you kind of have to be in the mood to watch. It's not an inspiring or happy movie, but Out of the Furnace is one where he had a smaller role. Yeah.
I will say, because it was a small movie, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, I would guess plenty of people in the comments probably haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I can't recommend it enough.
Johnny Depp in there too, in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. They're both kind of getting started. I feel like Gilbert Grape was like 1990.
Probably. I almost used that, but instead of Titanic. But because it's a smaller movie, I didn't think. We'd be able to talk about how great Leo's performance was, but beyond that, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I got to look that up. I'm really curious.
Gilbert Grape doesn't seem 90 to me. It seems.
Oh, it does to me. It's old.
I meant earlier.
93.
Wow. Okay. I was thinking it was earlier than that.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I know people have mentioned all these different movies, but for me, Blood Diamond, if you haven't seen Blood Diamond, he's so good in that. And also it has Jennifer Connelly. So just for those of you that like Jennifer Connelly, Blood Diamond is actually really good. And he's great in it, but it's not one of the movies that everybody talks about when they mention DiCaprio. It doesn't, the five that people mention are not, it's usually not in it. And
he's cool, right? Whether we know him or don't know him, whether we like him on screen or don't like him, whether we agree with it, he seems to be he's somebody I guess I would probably like to have a beer with and just chat with him for a little bit. He may not be a great person. We may not like certain things about it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I'm like, if there's 5 or 10 people in Hollywood today that I'm like, you know what? For no other reason other than I think it would be fun for a night, I'd like to go have a beer with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Listen, let's make that a little social media campaign. Leo, if you're listening, because we know that the audience is
vast.
And we're trying to build here. Leo, if you're listening, all 3 of us feel like you would be the person to go have a beer with.
The stores alone, we do 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I think it'd be just as easy to do 6 degrees of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have a beer with that man.
My wife always says he looks exactly like what you would have thought. I don't put this politically correct. Not politically correct. I don't want to insult him. He's a man-child. He still looks like an old young person or a young old person. I don't know exactly how to put it. But as he's aging, the kid that he was in that Bubblegum commercial is still there, but in the body of a near 50, if not 50-year-old man.
Yeah. How old is he?
Let's do this the old person
DiCaprio?
way. Google, how old is Leonardo DiCaprio?
54?
50.
50.
50.
50. He was born in 74.
Okay.
So there we have it, guys. Those are our 3 topics. That is our connection. Somebody's saying, Leo, please call Shell, please. Thank you, Kristen. If anybody has a connection to Leonardo DiCaprio or anybody else, that would be fun. I was talking to somebody on my live last night, and who did they say they knew? They knew somebody cool. And I'm like, get us in touch. You know, we can make 4 slots on here.
Yeah.
Or we could go get a beer, but you know, if you know somebody, let us know. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'd be lying if I said I had this together for weeks on end. Shell saw me scrambling to finish putting it together about the time you were chewing a sandwich, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the dinner thing, guys, but I was hungry and I haven't eaten since like noon, and I had to eat. Sorry.
Listen, I'm willing to sit down with Kevin Bacon too. Don't get me wrong. That works. Whatever you guys know. So that's it. Listen, we will be back. Same bat time, same bat channel. You can find us here next week, 9 p.m. Eastern time, Monday night. And that's all I got, guys. Anything you want to say on your way out?
No, just thank you, John. That was awesome.
Yeah, awesome topics.
Wonderful, wonderful. The audience was completely engaged today. I loved it.
Yeah. Really.
Well, until next time, keep blowing that gum.
Stay rad, everybody.